माधव कुंज विहारी गोपी जना वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे नित्य गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव श्रीपाद गुरुदेव श्रीपाद जय गुरुवरा शिला श्रीपाद की जय जगत गुरु शिला प्रभुपाद की जय गौर निताय की जय श्री गौर निताय की जय श्री लक्ष्मी नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की जय 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 श्री राधा माधव की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Our moderator can unmute everybody. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
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 नारायणं नमस्कृत्य
नारायणं नमस्कृत्य
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
सरस्वतीं
ततो जयम् उद्धीरयेत्।
ततो जयमुदीरयेत्।
नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु
नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु
नित्यं भागवत सेवया
नित्यं भागवतं सेवया
भगवती उत्तमश्लोके
भगवति उत्तमश्लोके
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, 4th chapter, 13th verse. Tamangamattam madhunoru gandhina vivruttatam raksham aseshadishnaya dishyapaha upasatopayana panibhirvina tribistrapo yoga balajasham padam Translation. O my dear king, Hiranyakashipu was always drunk on strong smelling wines and liquors, and therefore his coppery eyes were always rolling. Nonetheless, because he had powerfully executed great austerities in mystic yoga, although he was abominable, all but the three principal demigods, Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and Lord Vishnu, personally worshipped him to please him by bringing him various presentations with their own hands. I'm hearing my own voice from there. You can tell to reduce the sound. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. In the Skanda Purana, there is this description. Upayanam daduhu sarve vina devan hiranyakaha. Hiranyakasipu was so powerful that everyone but the three principal demigods, namely Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and Lord Vishnu, engaged in his service. Madhvacharya says, Aditya Vasavo Rudras Trividhahi Surayataha. There are three kinds of demigods, the Adityas, the Vasus, and the Rudras, beneath whom are the other demigods like Maruts and Sadhyas. Marutas Chaiva Visvecha Sadhyas Chaiva Cha Tadgataha. Therefore, all the demigods are called Tripishtapa, and the same word three applies to Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and Lord Vishnu. Text number 14. Jagur Mahendrasanam Ojasa Stitam Visva Vasustumbrur Asmadadyaha. Nobody is repeating. Our moderator again muted everybody.
No, Maharaj.
Gandharva Siddharshyo Astuvan Muhur Vidyadharascha Sarascha Pandava. Translation. O Maharaj Yudhishthir, descendant of Pandu, by dint of his personal power, Hiranyakasipu, being situated on the throne of King Indra, controlled the inhabitants of all the other planets. The two Gandharvas, Visvavasu and Tumburu, I myself and the Vidyadharas, Apsaras, and sages all offered prayers to him again and again just to glorify him. Purport. The Asuras sometimes become so powerful that they can engage even Narada Muni and similar devotees in their service. This does not mean that Narada was subordinate to Hiranyakashipu. Sometimes, however, it so happens in this material world that great personalities, even great devotees, can also be controlled by Asuras. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Jai Guru Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Sripad ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O my dear king, Hiranyakashipu was always drunk on strong smelling wines and liquors, and therefore his coppery eyes were always rolling. Nonetheless, because he had powerfully executed great austerities in mystic yoga, although he was abominable, all but the three principal demigods, Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and Lord Vishnu, personally worshipped him to please him by bringing him various presentations with their own hands. So, the demoniac nature has been explained here. So they are intoxicated They like to be intoxicated. There are various intoxications. One is intoxication, what we call them as intoxication. Right? This is the wine and liquor. So, this intoxication, one who is not spiritually enlightened, he takes pleasure in these intoxications. So, one takes this liquor or wine, though it is very distasteful and smell is very bad. They consume it and they feel they float in some phantasmagoria. So they feel light because material nature is so heavy if in absence of the spirituality or devotional service to the Lord, that dukkhalayam asashvatam. So in absence of the service to the Lord, one becomes very, very heavy in body, heavy in heart, and because the material nature is like that, dukkhalayam asashvatam. So one gets attached to the temporary things, and then he becomes dukkha because he has to lose them, both the things and the persons. So therefore, these are the greatest illusion, to get attached to the temporary things and also to the persons. So they become very heavy, and so they drink. Otherwise also, even if one has everything, one also drinks because one feels some kind of floating, or some, we don't know what is that experience, but some kind of thing which we can see sometimes. So much so that they do things that are very harmful to them. Sometimes even do many accidents which also harm others. So when one is intoxicated, one loses discrimination power. Discrimination power so much so that he cannot ascertain his own position. What is his? Many people think I drank, but I can still drive. So therefore they drive and they do many accidents. So this is the result of intoxication. In intoxication, one overestimates his capacity. One cannot properly ascertain what one's position is. So Hiranyakashipu, intoxicated, so therefore he is rolling. His eyes are rolling, some kind of. So, so that's why the police, they put this machine, right? Sometimes the intoxicated person may even argue with the police. No, I am all right. I am completely all right. So therefore, the police have these machines to measure the alcohol level, by breathing into that machine. So therefore, they are all detained. So such is the greatest danger of intoxication. So one cannot even do his minimum things. So that's why one of the pillars of spiritual life is that one is prohibited to drink the intoxicants. And there are other intoxicants, we don't need to talk about them. So but there are also other intoxicants. Janmaishwarya Srita Sribhir Yedamana Madah Puman. So these also intoxication. One is get intoxicated by good birth, opulence, or bodily strength or beauty, So, our scholarship or any material uh, assets, material abilities, material capabilities. So, this is also intoxication. So, those who are intoxicated by this, they also cannot understand their position, real position. The real position that one is the spirit soul, one is completely under the control of the three modes of material nature. So, Janmeshwara Chitta Srivir Yadaman Madapuman Naivarhati Avidhatum Vai Tvam Akinchana Gocharam. So, to them, they cannot even see themselves, right? Those who are intoxicated, they cannot even see themselves, whether they can drive the car or not. Then, what is the question of understanding God? And similarly, those who are intoxicated by these material capacities, they cannot properly understand themselves and they underestimate everyone else and they become uh, overconfident. And Prabhupada sometimes explains this flies, and there is a fire, they rush into the fire thinking that this is great, some wealth or something I can take. So they embrace the fire. So this is what the intoxication does. So one is intoxicated by one's capacity, he thinks he can embrace the fire and he will be all right. So therefore, but the result is that is very, very immediately, instantaneously burned to ash. So these demoniac qualities is described in Bhagavad Gita. One chapter is dedicated the divine and demonic natures. Dambo darpo abhimanascha krodha paurushyam evacha agnanam chabijatasya pardha sampadam asurim. This is the wealth of the asuras. Pride, arrogance, conceit, anger, harshness, and ignorance. These qualities belong to those of demonic nature, O son of Purtha. So pride, that whatever strength one has, it is not because of one's, it is given to the person. Therefore, one becomes arrogant. Conceit also one becomes uh, so very abhiman. Also sometimes can become harsh, anger, and is all born out of ignorance. One doesn't know one's position and position of others, especially the saintly persons. So one thinks I am no less. I am. So therefore, they sometimes even engage the saintly persons in their service. So what is their what is their hallmark? Those who are demoniac do not know what is to be done and what is not to be done. Neither cleanliness nor proper behavior nor truth is found in them. So this is very important. What is to be done, what is not to be done. Generally, we have some idea about the laukik, means worldly affairs. Uh, we have good idea because of uh, being expertise in accumulation. So therefore, one becomes very expert in how to behave and to not behave to accumulate. But there is also spiritual path. So one should also know what is to be done, what is not to be done. So neither cleanliness nor proper behavior nor truth is found in them. So in order to continue their intoxication, they also take the path of untruth, knowingly try to establish untruth as a truth. So therefore, this is all because of demonic nature intoxication. Intoxication is one is in intoxication of already acquired possessions, and another intoxication is hankering to acquire more. So Hiranyakashipu has both. So therefore, we should know what is proper behavior, and especially in devotional service, the proper behavior is very, very important, because whatever we receive is only by the mercy of Krishna, Guru, and the Vaishnavas. So therefore, one should not be intoxicated that no, I am all right. I am now qualified, or I am as qualified as everybody else. So these things can lead us to downward. And they engage in horrible, unbeneficial works to the world. So we see Hiranyakashipu, so many unbeneficial works. Taking shelter of insatiable lust and absorbed in the conceit of pride and false prestige, the demoniac, thus illusion, are always sworn to unclean work, attracted by the impermanent. So this insatiable lust, this is an intoxication of both the real intoxications and these material possessions, pride and hankering. They are so strong that he'll be absorbed in the conceit of pride and false prestige. So one is lost in the false prestige. False prestige means to think something which we are not. False prestige. Or hanker for a prestige that is material. So the real prestige is the what we are in the eyes of Guru and Krishna. So in this false prestige, they are always sworn to the unclean work. So unclean work is not something which we can see with the physical eye, something unclean or dirty. Unclean in dealings. in order to accumulate, collect more than one requires and needs, or one deserves. So one takes too many unclean methods, unclean process, and so therefore he is attracted by the impermanent. So therefore we have come all the way to devotional service, but these things haunt us even when we are in this line. So therefore we should be very, very careful, because they will hamper our chance of to go back to Godhead in this lifetime. They believe that to gratify the senses is the prime necessity of human civilization. Thus, until the end of life, their anxiety is immeasurable. So this is a result. If one is attracted by the impermanent, the result is that he will be in anxiety. Because there are so many others who also want the same thing. And there is always chance of losing. And there is always chance of not getting what one wants. So that is but in the spirituality, there is on the path of devotion, there is nothing that one cannot get that one wants. So, okay, I want some 100 crore rupees to do some seva to Krishna. That will not be really spiritual. Whatever seva that is expected from me may not require 100 crores to do that seva. And so therefore, that is again could be attracted to the 100 crores, but not Krishna. Not really, the attraction is not really to Krishna, but to the 100 crores. Or maybe let me have 1000 followers to serve Krishna nicely. But attraction there could be to have followers, not to serve Krishna. So, or have acquire big land, many things, even in the devotional service. So, we have to be very, very careful to analyze ourselves. But the magic of this intoxication is that we deceive ourselves. So, that is the greatest. So, we have to carefully analyze my attraction is 100 crores or for Krishna. If I am given a seva where I don't have a penny in my hand, will I still be same happy? Or if I am given a position where I don't have any follower, but I have to follow somebody, will I be equally happy? Or if I am given a position where I am not uh, leading, but I am only following somebody, so will I be the same happy? So therefore, we can also analyze ourselves that whether I am attracted by the impermanent or the permanent, that is Krishna, Krishna Seva. So therefore, if our attraction is impermanent, what follows is the anxiety, frustration, depression. It's possible even in evil while we are doing all appears to be very busy with the devotional service. Right? Outwardly appears all activities are becoming devotional. But our hankering is for these things. So then one will be in anxiety, frustration, anger, conceit, deceit, unclean behavior. So therefore, we should not be attracted by the impermanent. We should be more vigilant after coming to devotion because we deceive ourselves. It appears that we are engaged in a lot of activities, but we are going nowhere. Because what happens in this attraction for the impermanent, we don't know proper behavior. So end up engaging the saintly persons for our attraction to the impermanent. We have seen many senior Guru's time also. Many people they invite just to engage sadhu so that he can attract more followers, but not interested to serve the sadhu. Right? We have also seen in Guru Maharaj's case. So it's the same, they have demoniac quality. Though we are wearing our Vaishnava dress, tilak, everything, we end up engaging the sadhus instead of serving the sadhus. Same like Hiranyakashipu. Here Narada Muni is saying, even he was engaging, even Narada Muni was engaged by Hiranyakashipu. So this is what happens when one is not saintly, one is not free from material attractions, and when they become powerful, this is the result. They end up engaging the sadhus like Narada Muni in their service of attraction to the impermanent and increasing their impermanent assets. So even in devotion, these are impermanent assets. The temples we build, the buildings we make, the followers we make, they're all in a sense temporary. When this world is gone, they all will be gone. Or when we are gone, they all will be gone. Anything we acquire independent of the service attitude, they are all impermanent. They will not come with us. So those things we may acquire because of our karma we have, because of our material qualifications, but they will not help our journey. So also sometimes we remember Guru Maharaj's time, they arrange so many programs that the senior sannyasis, they are unable to, they do it out of love and affection. But those who take the service, they just use like a machine and then forget. So this is what happens. We end up. So therefore, one who is still entangled should take a humble position and serve the sadhus who are free from the entanglement. Otherwise, what happens? These all things will come up like what Hiranyakashipu is doing. Engage the sadhus in one's seva. And that is the end of one's spirituality. So I stop here. If there are any questions, kindly come forward.
Hare Krishna Maharaji, thank you for this short and sweet class. Yeah, if anyone is having any question regarding today's class, they can raise their hand and ask His Holiness Professor Vishwat Maharaj. Ritvik, please.
Hare Krishna Maharaji. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Maharaji. My question is like, how to balance this situation? Like, one side we have to try to get the people to serve the mission, and at the same time, one should not completely go in. I'm getting followers. Because sometimes we directly go. We should get more people. Sometimes we forget our work. Someone. So how to balance this?
Yeah, very nice question. is first of all work under the direction of spiritual master or sadhu until one is fully detached from material entanglement. So one could offer whatever one bringing to the spiritual master or the sadhu. So that way one is free until one is completely free from these attractions to the impermanent. So that way one will be free. So for guru, for sadhu, you can bring so many people, no problem. So, but you should be ready to offer them to the guru or the sadhu. So one has to be very, very careful. So therefore, in trying to become a leader, these are the qualities one should develop to offer whatever one brings to guru or sadhu. So yeah, right. So that's what we have to do. We offer whatever we bring in the service others. So it is always good to have to do in the presence of spiritual master, because it is very easy to do when in the presence of spiritual master these things, so that we are free. We are free from those obligations or free from those dangers. So that's why one should take full advantage when spiritual master is physically present, because when spiritual master is not present, it is very more easy to deceive oneself. On one side, it would be like uh, executing the orders of spiritual master. At the same time, also we are unable to overcome these propensities, and will not be able to accept uh, others or somebody more close to spiritual master, and try to work in a way that is offering to that person and be free free from these attractions. So therefore one should take full advantage of when spiritual master is physically present, because that is the best chance for us to work to bring all these things to offer to spiritual master and free oneself. So that way we can balance. Or find somebody who is more close to spiritual master. So also there is also another what you say a tricky thing. One may think I am the most close, but we can find, if one is humble, one can really find somebody who is more close to spiritual master. And try to develop. So work in that way, because sakta karmani atha kuruvante avidvamso. Just like the people who are avidvamsa, means those who are not learned, they work out of great attachment. Right? So Krishna says, similarly, those who are learned should work without attachment, to set an example and lead others. So this is a quality of a leader. If one wants to become a leader, he should be able to work without attachment, should be able to offer whatever he brings in. And the leadership is not collecting so many things, but the leadership is showing this detachment of what ends. So, because kripana phalahetava. So, kripana is phalahetava. Phalahetava means whatever work one does, whatever one brings, so he thinks he deserves it. So, therefore, so one can analyze if one his actions. So, one should be act in a way which is with detachment. So that is a leadership. To become a leader means to work in detachment, to be able to offer the fruits. So that is a test. You can test yourselves. So whatever you bring, you can offer and say, Guru Maharaj, or somebody who is guiding you, or somebody more close, that okay, you can use it whatever you like. So what we do, no, I brought Maharajji or Prabhuji, I want them to be help me only, I don't want to give. So you are attracted by the impermanent. So that is how we can balance. You can bring as much as, but you should be ready to offer them all, and you remain you remain a humble servant. So that way one can then one gets the mercy of the sadhu, that he selflessly serving me. So then he'll get the real blessings. So real blessing is that he is my man, he is my person, or my boy, something like that. Spiritual master, when he is selflessly serving, not using the guru or sadhu, but rather serving the guru and sadhu. So the same activity depends on how you are situated. It could be serving the sadhu or using the sadhu. So you analyze. I think enough ground has been made for analyzing oneself. So no problem. When you are situated in that attitude of serving sadhu, you can acquire as much as you want. At the same time, you will be not attracted with impermanent, and you will offer everything to the sadhu and guru. So it would be good to serve spiritual master in his physical presence, or otherwise at least get some hint where you can serve for rest of the time to come, because we think I am no less than anybody. So therefore our entanglement continues. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Maharaji, thank you.
Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
We have two more questions. So one is by our Shamchandra Prabhu. Prabhuji, please.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandat
Hare
Pranam,
Krishna Prabhu, Dandat Pranam.
Jai Srila Sripad Maharaj, Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Jai. Jai Shamchandra Prabhu ji ki jai. Yeah, you are taking a lot of
Ananta
pain for
Koti Vaishnavanta ki jai.
Guru Maharaj's Vyasa Puja Murti installation. So,
All thanks
all
to your
glories to
guidance
you.
and instructions. All glories to you, Maharaj.
Hare
Okay,
Krishna Prabhu.
Maharaj, related to this material intoxication, now when a materially intoxicated person engages a sadhu, in the service, I mean, sometimes, we find that a lot of house programs, are being conducted. So that time a sadhu is invited, and that person who's inviting may not be properly situated, but then he takes pleasure in inviting the sadhu. So in such situation, does the sadhu fall down, or is it that materialistic person gets elevation slowly and steadily? Because our movement is, when even Sripad Maharaj, when he was distributing books, he has gone to some places which are forbidden, but then it was done with the intention of elevating those fallen souls. No, so in this situation, I was just thinking, like, even when a mentally intoxicated person invites a sadhu, the sadhu, because of his purity and standing, he may be having the power to, somehow, uh, help these fallen souls to, or rescue them rather, from the situation. So can you just, explain this? Because, I thought I heard somewhere that, materialistic person, the sadhu should be avoiding to get this kind of, service of materialistic person. So I just wanted a little clarity on that.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. Very deep question. I'm a very small person, but I will make little attempt. When the spiritual master goes, sadhu will never be entangled, because sadhu knows who he is, and he is acting on his on the level of his swarupa, not on the bodily platform. So therefore, there is no question of he getting fall down. But the person who is inviting, he will definitely get benefited. He will make progress. But when one becomes serious in spiritual life, there is a we are all endeavoring to perfect our human life, right? Just like in the business, there is a break-even point, right? In the business, we have break-even point. But since similarly in our devotional journey, there is a break-even point from the material consciousness to spiritual consciousness. So what we are discussed just before, is that is the break-even. When we make a business, you carefully see when I'm going to break even, when I'm going to break even, when I break even. Then you will become little peaceful. But though you have to continue working, but until it is break even, you cannot rest in peace. So similarly, in the devotional line, until one comes to this point of working, serving sadhu, and working without attachment, in a mood of offering, and also in action offering. So that is a break-even point. We make a transition from our material consciousness to spiritual consciousness. From there, just like the business, after you make break-even, you grow like anything. So when one makes this break-even, one grows in spiritual life, anything, and receives the mercy of the sadhu, and one will also be situated in one's constitutional position, and one acts in that constitutional position. and one acts in love of Guru and Sadhu and Krishna. But otherwise, we are still functioning in intoxication of various kinds. Intoxication of sense gratification, intoxication of so many things. So that is a break-even point. We should very carefully cross if you want to make our business or spiritual life successful. Does that help, Prabhuji?
Yes, Maharaj. I think
Or
you have
anything?
wonderfully explained. No, wonderfully explained. Break-even point is the critical aspect here, and whether it is business or whether it is spiritual life, I think the break-even point is very, very important, which you rightly explained. I think it's well understood. Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Thank you,
Wonderful.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. We have a question by Jagdish. Yes, please.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Like my question is like how we can surrender more and more to Guru Maharaj. Like how to become like whatever Guru Maharaj says I will do, I will be ready for it. Like how we can.
I think you all already know, but we can repeat again, no problem. What you already know is very simple. Approach the spiritual master and humbly inquire, how can I serve you? And after serving, whatever results you get, you bring those results to spiritual master and say, this is the results I got, Guru Maharaj, for your service. Please accept it. Very simple. Sometimes what happens, we ask humbly, whatsoever I do, and then when the fruit comes, I will keep the fruits in my pocket. Either my followers, either money or whatever, so many things. So, so in this process, we develop asakti in the impermanent. So that is a real function of a sadhu in our life and in this world. The function of sadhu is to free our asakti in the temporary. So we should fully utilize and allow the sadhu to free us from the impermanent. So what happens if we both ways should be there, like Shyamchandra Prabhu said, what will happen to the person? Sadhu is giving mercy, but spiritual transformation is not just the sadhu only. The sadhaka also should aspire for the spiritual transformation. So this is both ways. So therefore, when the sadhu works on these things, we should be able to accept. Otherwise, one becomes angry with the sadhu. So, because we have a lot of attachment, but sadhu sometimes take risk because without upsetting us, there is no way we can come out of our attachment. Right? Like Prabhupada, he lost his whole business. But when he lost his business, he understood that it is Krishna's mercy. So similarly, when a sadhu understands our attachment and try to detach us from our attachments, if we can appreciate also same way as Srila Prabhupada appreciated his business being lost. So Prabhupada also could react, oh, I am such a great devotee and I lost everything. So what is the use of becoming devotee of Krishna? And things like that. But Prabhupada is already liberated, but he is playing the trajectory of a serious devotee who is making progress. So therefore, when the sadhu is operating on those things, you should be able to also accept it. Just like when we have some trouble in the body, we go to the doctor. Sometimes he gives injection. You should be able to accept it. There is little pain. So if you are not ready that for pain, you will not be immunized. You will not be immune, right? If you don't take the vaccine because of pain of the injection, then you will not be immune to the infection. So similarly, when the sadhu operates on our infection, gives injection sometimes. So if one is not ready to accept that pain of the injection, then the infection will not go away and one will not be immune to material infection. Hare Krishna Jagadeshwar Prabhuji. Does that help or anything you are still wanting to know?
Yes, Maharaj, understood. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Dandavad Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Nilmada Prabhuji, please unmute it. Hare Krishna, Nilmada Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavad Pranam.
Dandit Pranam Nila Madhav Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Maharaj, I want to ask, like, in beginning when we start devotional service, we start with very enthusiasm, everything. But in the process, the, like you told, the break-even point, we didn't come to that. So in the process, in going to that direction, so what happens again? The positions itself, the material, whatever positions are there, we are working. So that itself imposes so many things, like it actually eventually leads to attraction of impermanent things. So how actually because so every step carefulness, have to be very alert, and sometimes even body doesn't support everything, and even sometimes say also overloaded, everything is there. So how actually, Hare Krishna.
Yeah, until at least we should theoretically know, and now you know theoretically. So we have to work on that. Yatantascha Dridavataha. So this is a sign of a serious devotee. He knows what is the standard, and he constantly endeavors. So you check yourself whether you are constantly endeavoring or you are complacent. If you are complacent, then end of your spiritual journey, whatever you have progressed, somebody is progressed into chanting certain rounds in a day, somebody is progressed until putting tilak, somebody progress something, but until this break-even point, we should atantascha dridavataha. We should endeavor with great determination. If the determination is not there, then ignorant. Ignorant means this is one of the qualities of demoniac qualities. So I am a demon. Right? Anger, conceit, ignorance. So if you are ignorant of your benefit, your real self-interest, nate vidu swartha gatim hi Vishnu. So if we don't understand our real interest, then our root is Hiranyakashipu. That's what Hiranyakashipu didn't really know what is his real interest. His real interest is Vishnu. Our real interest is sadhu. Our interest is guru. So if this is not goes into the at least the theoretical part of the brain, so Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya, daily participation in Bhagavatam classes can help to remind. So the key point here is Yatantascha Dridavataha. Namasyantascha Mam Nitya. So this Yatantascha Dridavataha. We should constantly endeavor. Like in the childhood, you must have learned to ride a bicycle, right? In the beginning, we don't know how to ride. Somebody is helping. At the same time, we have so much enthusiasm to learn, wanting to ride a bicycle, that we fall down many times, we get up, ride again. Sometimes we have some bruises, but still we continue, and then we will ride soon. Spiritual life also same. We have not break even, but do you want to break even or not? That is the question to you, by you. That is the question you have to put to yourself. I am not in break even. But do you want to cross the break even point? If the answer is yes, you are a sadhaka. If the answer is no, you are not a sadhaka. So we should be at least sadhakas, wanting to achieve perfection. Then one can be helped. If one is not interested to achieve perfection, then he cannot be helped. Is it clear now, Nilmada Prabhuji?
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Yes, Maharaj, to some extent.
What extent is missing?
No, I want to tell like in the process we actually don't know. At least I actually sometimes it's not exactly one answer. It's states. It's superposition of so many. Sometimes we feel okay, array, so many things you are doing, no need to do. It's still like that. And sometimes, array, why are you doing this? You go that. So
Yeah, for that only Guru and Sadhu are there. Why are you struggling so much? we time to time we do fall down. We are in Maya. There's no doubt about it. But am I constantly endeavoring to overcome? So when you have doubt, you can always ask spiritual master, and he will clarify with exact things. Because in general, in Bhagavatam class, what happens? Questions are sometimes a little bit abstract. So you get abstract answers, and your question is not answered because exact thing. So for that matter, only Guru and Sadhu are there, and you go and explain exactly what it is. So Guru Sadhu may say, "Why are you involved in so many things? Only do this thing." So the idea is not to engage in so many things. The idea is to draw our attraction from impermanent to the permanent. That is the business of Guru and Sadhu. That's what they want to do. Sometimes we misunderstand. They want so many things. That's not what they want. They want you, not your fruits. We are giving class here, Prabhuji. See, we are giving class at Prasad. Automatically coming. Krishna and Guru, they send Prasadam like this. Don't need to worry. We engage in service. Whatever we need, whatever is best, that will come. So, I think too much speculation is not good. So, conception can get from classes and others, but real overcoming real difficulty, you have to approach the spiritual master and explain, and he will in no time it will be resolved. But it is not good to remain confused all the time. Unless you like to be in confusion and take advantage of that position. Hare Krishna. You like to be in confusion, or you want to come out of the confusion? It looks like you like being confused. You enjoy being confused, I think.
no, Maharaj, what advantage?
No. I'm seeing so many classes you are putting the same thing. You love to be confused, and so that you can take advantage of confused position and finally can say I'm confused. Very good strategy, Nilavada Prabhuji. All the best. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. We have one more question from our Alganda. Maybe our question in the Prabhuji. Prabhuji, please.
And Maharaj, in business, as you told, in material business, there is there is a parameter for measuring this break even. What about in spiritual life? How can we measure this? Whether we achieve the break even or not, how can we measure it? Is it differ from soul to soul or person to person or something, or any standard parameter is there?
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. We have already discussed that is to asakta, working without being attached to the fruits. That doesn't mean that one is not interested to get the fruits. One is interested to get as many fruits as possible, but not enjoy himself and offer to Guru, Krishna and Sadhu. So a physical person will help in this process so that we engage the fruits in the direction of that person. So this process should be completed in the physical presence of Guru. Easier. Otherwise, after Guru leaves, is very difficult because everybody is. I am also disciple. He is also disciple. So we very difficult to find somebody who is more advanced than us. So the measuring is that the fruits that are coming out of your seva, are you ready to offer them? Or you want to use them for your need as you want? You want to engage them as spiritual master wants, or as you want? Understand, Prabhuji? So this measure one has to do oneself. It's called self-analysis. One has to reflect oneself. So nobody can come and measure. So if we don't analyze ourselves, even if somebody else measures, we don't accept that measurement. So self-analysis is important. Introspection is important to see my feelings, where they are going, in what direction they are going. Because it is subjective. Spirituality is subjective, it is not objective. You cannot put it in a weighing machine and weigh it. You have to weigh it through your introspection. But some sadhus can see and guide us, but if we don't introspect, we don't accept them. Krishna Chandra Prabhuji, does that help?
Very nice, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna, thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Maharaji, we have a question in chat. So we have a huge amount of payment.
What is that?
If we own some 200 crores and someone is trying to occupy or someone occupied, how to deal in that case?
When we own some 200 crores, someone is occupied. How to deal in that case? Occupied means occupied in getting 200 crores.
Yeah, someone has taken that 200 crores from us.
Oh, from you? Hare Krishna. No, you try to get back because that is not yours, that belongs to Guru. But after you get, whether you give it to Guru or use for yourselves. So we should get it, whatever, even the material thing, what we own, we try to get back. What we deserve, what is materially ours. What is rightfully yours materially. That also you should get. But what we are talking here is something even more, that if I bring some fruits and if somebody is trying to take away from my Guru, I will try to get them back. But that also we should do under guidance, because in the process of getting the 200 crores, Guru should not lose you. Because Guru doesn't want 200 crores, he wants you, so that you become detached by offering your fruits. He's not interested in your fruits. So you should try to get back those fruits because you want to offer to the Guru, but not in a way that we ourselves are lost. So Guru don't mind if those 200 crores are lost, but you remain dedicated to Sri Guru and ready to offer whatever you have not lost. Whatever you have lost, 200 crores is fine. But what about other 100 crores or 200, 500 crores that you already have in your hands? What about that? So 100 crore loss is not a great loss for spiritual master. But a disciple lost in matter is a great loss for a spiritual master, because that is his seva to Krishna, to take us out of matter. So there are relatively important things. So comparison to 200 crores and the person, if the person is lost, is more a bigger loss. So spiritual master can get more, again the same 100 crores or whatever X money. 100 crores is too much for us. So you can get that back. But more important thing is that we are not lost. When are we lost? Sakta karmani yadha vidvam. So when we work with attachment to engage the fruits according to our discretion. So both yes and no, but Guru can help. So most important thing is that we should not be lost. Right? Sometimes in the land disputes, people, they lose their lives. So one has to see what is more important. Is land is important or the life is important? Or money is important or life is important? Sometimes we hear two people fighting over 5 rupees, 10 rupees, or over some seat, something, and then it go to a such an extent that one loses one's life. So life is very valuable, because in this life we can break even in spirituality. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaji. There are no further questions, and so maybe we can conclude it. It's fine.
Our Maharaj is not there.
I've seen earlier. Yeah, Maharaj is there. Yes.
Maharaj, please bless.
Yes, go ahead,
Please
Maharaj,
bless
please.
me. Hare Krishna. Looks like Maharaj is not nearby. Looks like. No problem. Thank you all for joining. Whatever I told, please bless me to cultivate what I told, because what I spoke is theory. Practice is something else. And we should always be careful about these things. Everyone. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Jai.
Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj Srila Shripad ki jai, Samasta Bhakta Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.
Jai.
Sai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari. Hare Krishna.
His
We'll join
Holiness
tomorrow
Bhakti
morning.
Swarup Respect Maharaj ki jai. Thank you all for joining. See you all in tomorrow's class. Hare Krishna.